Welcome to the 122nd episode of the MC Knitting Adventures podcast. My name's Colleen.
And my name is May. Welcome, returning viewers. And for those of you watching us for the first time, we're so glad you could join us. And Happy New Year to everyone. We're so glad. We're looking forward to a great year, Colleen and I, to tutorials and to podcasts and spending time with you. Glad you're here. And in today's video, Colleen's going to be talking about her usual, and also talking about blocking and the things that she's been blocking. But before we get into all of that, and our New Year's resolutions, of course, they stay the same every year to get to a certain age.
Exactly.
But before we get into all that, Colleen will talk about what we're wearing.
So first of all, let's talk about what May is wearing. And she is wearing the Koidu scarf. And it's by May Landra. Now, this is a pattern that's free with a specified yarn purchase. So obviously it would be Koidu yarn. But once I had done one of them, I thought the shape is brilliant. So it's just a little triangle shawl shape. So if you have a pattern for a triangle shawl, you could do that and just not make it as big, which is what we can do with that. So this yarn is I Love This Cotton, and we got this at Hobby Lobby in the States, which we don't go to anymore because, COVID, and then we just didn't. Mm-hmm. But it is really nice cotton, and it sits well and it knits up well. So if you are in the States and have a Hobby Lobby, that is great cotton to do.
Now, a lot of the cows that Colleen does for me, they just slip over my head. This one particularly, you have to tie up.
Right.
But I just leave it tied up and put it over my head.
Exactly.
So it's fine.
And it stayed in good shape that way.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So that's what May is wearing. And I am wearing the Easy Goes It. Oh my gosh, grabber and me. Easy Goes It. And that's by Michelle Higgins. So Finicky Creations is what her name is. And this shawl, I used some yarn. Now, we bought this in Bay City, Michigan, in the store called A Piece of You. Beautiful store. We went there before COVID again. And this is the colorway that is the Tall Ships 2019. And it's a Mountain Colors Twizzlefoot dyed. So they dyed especially for that store. And I really like this. It was nice that they had it knit up, so I could see what it was going to look like. But I like that it's blue and it's got some brown in it. And so, when you're trying to change colors up and you think, okay, what else will I do? So I have this brown shirt that was one of those decisions. I'll buy something brown. And so it's nice to have something.
Yeah, I was thinking, you don't normally wear brown, so what now looks good with brown. That's great. Now, just when you were saying about before COVID, I think they should have a thing saying like 2023 BC,
Exactly. Before COVID.
Yes. Anyway, I thought that was good, but that looks great.
Oh,
really nice. I love it.
So that's what we're wearing. And next we're going to talk about finished objects. My first finished object has been finished and gifted. It needed to be blocked. And it was the Journeyman hat by Benjamin Crudwig. And my son loved it. So he just became a journeyman millwright, and so he was happy with the name of the pattern. I used Heartland, and it was I think it's called Black Canyon. So it's a black, but it's got flecks. And he really liked that, actually. He even mentioned that. Like, oh my gosh, you mentioned yarn. Thanks for that. No, but he thought it would fit nice under his work helmet. That was going. And so I know I have a picture, which you'll see right here. And he loved it. He was happy with it.
Fit great. When he put it on, it fit great, and it's going to work out well.
So when I blocked it, when you're dealing with something, this is all acrylic, you have to make some decisions about how you're going to block it. So somebody, one of our viewers had said to wet block it. I understood why. She said sometimes if you steam something, then it can flatten it right out. I was careful. I was using our clothes steamer. Didn't get too close and didn't get near the ribbing.
And that's what you have to do with acrylic, because what happens if you just wet it and block it?
You know what? It will probably stay. It's not going to be able to stretch as much as wool, though.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you just have to be careful. It's going to come back to it.
So you got to be careful when working with acrylic.
Exactly. When blocking it. Working with acrylic is great, but when blocking it, you have to be careful. And I used to make all the time the Farrell sweaters when ladies that I worked with were having babies. Same thing. You wanted to be careful because you wanted to work on what was there. In hindsight, I was not a blocker. I was a steamer at that point in time, but maybe at this point in time I would block it. So it's all kinds of possibilities. My first finished object. Now, my second finished object is a pair of socks that were for May. Now, I'm going to show you what I did when I was blocking. So if you look at these are just hair elastics, which obviously we do not need. But I put them on the blocker so that I could hang them over a hanger and hang them up.
It's a good idea. A good thing those were there. Maybe that's what it was for.
I don't know, but it worked. So this is the version 2, and that is by Summerlee Designs. There's 3 or 4 different versions in the pattern. Lovely pattern. This yarn is Leo and Roxy Basics. It's the Midwinter Sock Set version 2. Now, I did have a bit of an issue, probably because of my tension, and that is that I didn't have enough. So some of you may have seen our work on Instagram. I went, oh my goodness, I don't have enough. And May said, well, just make the toe black. I said, no. I've got lots of little bits of yarn. I can find some gray. So I found some gray. So if you look really close, this is the sock that needed the extra. And there we go.
You can't even tell it's brilliant. And you're on your feet. You're just going to see the toe. And I love this yarn. It's so soft.
Yes. And that was one of those blocking things. And we'll talk more about blocking in our crafting section. But this came up really nice. It did make a big difference to the yarn.
Again, I was going to say they fit like a glove, but that would be crazy because they're not. They fit like socks. That's right. Perfect. I love having homemade socks. And they're a perfect little size. So I like the shorts of them. Yeah. That's right. Great. Thank you so much. And they turn out great. I love that yarn when it does that.
Well, it was me that did that.
It was?
Yeah. So
your yarn doesn't come like this?
No. Every time that it changes color, I had to change colors.
No.
Yes. Every time.
Oh my gosh. That's a lovely work.
Yeah. I had to weave in all those ends.
Oh my gosh.
Hopefully I did so neatly.
Well, I'm going to just touch your work.
Okay.
I'm going to be like doing the white glove test on your sock.
That's right.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Not even one of them is... Oh, I thought that was...
Yeah, it's not self-striping yarn.
So now I really appreciate the work involved.
See, thank you for that.
Yes. Wow, that's great. And look at that. Beautiful. You could wear them inside out. You could that good.
Well, thank you very much.
Just checked your work in front of everybody.
I know. I was a little worried. I thought, did I leave any ends in? Oh, no.
It wasn't like we practiced this beforehand.
That's right.
Yeah, it was a very good job. Thank you.
All right. So that's May socks. Now, my next finished object will tell you that our printer needs ink. There it is.
And guess who uses it?
So I said to May, it's only the first page, but this one didn't have any. So it's called the Nutcracker Socks. It was one of the platinum patterns by the Bakery Bears. And so it was an Advent kind of thing.
Now, this yarn did this one. This is the yarn that did this.
No, I had to do all that.
Again, still?
Yeah. This is all 3 different colors of yarn.
Oh.
This is the Malabrigo Ultimate Sock. So I chose 3 different colors and tried to pick something that was on a nutcracker. So I looked on images on Google and found that.
Oh, that's right. Now that I remember, you did go and find the 3 colors. Now that I'm thinking, yeah, it wasn't yarn. Well, so you had to weave all these in too? The
hands all in as well.
You give yourself way too much work.
Well, this one was kind of fun because I was busy working on the first sock and then we were almost to the end. And then following Kay Jones, she said, well, if you're working on the second sock, I thought, okay, I haven't worked on the second sock. Oh, yeah, I don't know, but I did manage to get them done. Now, these ones I'm not going to block. And you may say, why not? And I said, well, I have small feet. And if I block these, especially on these blockers, they're going to be too wide and they'll slip a little bit.
Right.
And I've already checked that the ribbing at the top is okay, so I don't have to worry about it. So, yeah.
These look great. They don't look like they need block, but they're really nice.
Exactly. And they're open where they need to be open. And I don't know if you really need to be open in a sock as well.
Right. But there's
I'm not going to worry about blocking those. All right. Let's look at this. This is what happens when we have a little bit of time. Well, we had lots of things going on, so we can talk a little bit about that later. So then my 4th work in progress. No. It's not a work in progress because it's done. It's a finished object is Zuzu's Petals, and that's by Karina Spencer. And what I chose to do this pattern in was the Creative Knitter, and it's her DK Tweed. And oh my goodness, this yarn is brilliant. So
now you've showed this on previous podcasts because it looks familiar, correct? It's just that you haven't showed it blocked. Is that correct?
Correct. I have this much left, so I have quite a bit left. quite sure what I'm going to do with that, but I'm going to think of something because it's enough left that I'm going to be able to create something. So maybe a headband. I was thinking maybe Jinx first. Oh, now she can't talk for the rest of the day. Well, it's supposed to, but I need her to talk. So all right. Now you'll notice a difference in this for sure. So there it is.
Yes.
Now these are tricky to block. Oh, there's a little end that I hadn't cut off because sometimes before you block it, you do need to cut your ends, but it's going to shift in the blocking process. So this really opened that lace up, and I'm really like it. The yarn, oh my gosh, it's so soft.
What a difference. I remember this when it wasn't.
It was all curly and that kind of thing.
Really nice. What a difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So did you take a before and after picture of this block? Or just an after?
Took an after, and I took some video of the blocking process.
Oh, okay.
So this one's a little tricky because it has that center part. So you want to make sure you don't have the center going on a slant.
That's very nice. That'll sit nice.
Exactly. I think it'll be nice with the black coat.
Very nice.
All right. So we're good. My last finished object is the Turnt, and that's by Lauren Elkin. Now, this was tricky because it is a cowl, but there was a bit of a Mobius flip, and I won't say anything more than that because it is a paid-for pattern. It was one of the Lola's Choice kits. It came with the Creative Make It Tweed, which I really liked. It was neat to work with. But the other part that it came with was mohair, and mohair and I around my neck would not be so happy. So I didn't use that. I had some Scrumptious Lace by Fiber Space, so I took that. Now I don't even know if I used half of that ball of yarn, but here is how it blocked. And once again, I've done a video that has a before and after, but this was all bunched up because there's knitting and purling and you can see it and it's nice. But I love that stuff that makes it look tweedy because that green in the background is what was plain. And this can be a double wrap cowl.
It's nice. It'd be nice to see that on. Yeah. It's kind of unique.
Exactly. So you know what? This is, when you take a look, that's what it was like with the mohair. And I think they did pretty well substituting the yarn.
Yeah. Nice. That'll feel nice around your neck. It's nice and light.
It is. Yeah. I think it'll be great. And it'll go with all different kinds of colors too.
Very nice.
All right. So those are my finished objects. Lots of knitting, lots of fluffy. And May, how about you? Finished objects.
As you know, I belong to a miniature group. And in the miniature group, my job was to make 20 kits for little beds on the little house on the prairie.
20
kits.
Did you say 20?
20. But then I got kind of asked to do 20 more beds.
That would be 40.
40 beds for the kits. So yes, they're finished. The beds themselves aren't finished, but every little piece that makes a bed, like the kit, is all finished and put in the kits. And so it's quite a relief to have that done because it's kind of a responsibility when you have to show up and have this stuff done for everybody. Yeah.
And you have to have instructions so it can...
And then I have to have instructions on how to put it together. So I may have to put a video together for the world, and then my miniature people can see how it goes.
Well, you are very good at making videos. So.
But I didn't want to bring all, and there must be hundreds of pieces of beds.
And if you dropped them,
yes,
you would be crying.
Yeah, but I put them in bags.
Oh, bags.
Each individual baggies. And everybody the group gets their little kit, and then they can glue it together, and then they have their little house on the prairie bed or beds.
It's going to be so cute when you get it.
Yes, cute, yeah.
All right, so those are our finished objects, and next we're going to talk about works in progress. My first work in progress actually became a finished object, but we're going to talk about that. So it's in this section because I wasn't sure I was going to get it done. And it is an Anguli cowl by Hilary Smith Callens, which is May's favorite. But what I wanted to do is try it with a worsted weight yarn, because if I'm knitting for a booth and knitting to sell something, working with fingering and weight yarn doesn't really
pay.
It doesn't pay. That's a good way to put it. It doesn't pay. So I thought, okay, I'm going to try it with Lion Brand Heartland yarn, okay, which is the kind of thing that I made with Thomas's hat up, my son's hat. So it is, I'll show you, it looks huge, and then I'll show you how you wear it. So that's how big it is.
And this is big because you used that bigger yarn?
I actually did it the same size as the other one, but it's heavier.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like I did the back the same size. I did the length the same size. Like it's all the same. Now, the one thing I did do, I'm not sure you can see, is I added an I-cord edge, which I really like, by the way. And if I was going to go back and make May another one, it would have an I-cord edge. So I put an I-cord edge and I did an I-cord bind off, almost like I know some things. It was very much fun to try and design something. And so when I put it on, you thought it was too much around the neck.
This whole part here, all of this is all like up here like this.
Well, what do you want me to show?
Well, do you want to take the...
That's okay. I'll just show you. So what I had to do, I had to fold that under. So it actually, the nice thing about that, it ends up sitting like this, and it's almost like you have a turtleneck.
Right.
Which is nice. This is not an indoor I'm wearing thing. This is a wearing under your coat. And it would sit nice, and it's not like it's a big scarf that's wrapped 9 times.
That's true. That's a good point, because sometimes the scarves are bulkier than that.
Exactly.
So it'd be an alternative to wearing a scarf.
Exactly.
Not an indoor type thing.
Yeah.
So maybe changing, well, the color's nice too. I mean, people wear this color, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a great idea, because I know I've talked about this before, but I just find in this weather, it's so cold, and I just find putting something around my neck just keeps me warmer than I never used to wear things around my neck. So that keeps me warm.
I was knitting.
I got cows. I think I wear 10 cows around my neck.
There we go.
This would be great, nice and warm if you're going for a walk or something like that. Really nice.
It'd be nice to brighten up a black coat or a gray coat.
Yeah, that's really nice.
So I'm either going to make those, or I may do the Zuzu's petals, like the purple one that was my finished object with the lace. So I'm going to talk to my boss lady over here and see. Yes,
that's the only time I'm the boss.
And then we'll figure out what we're going to do. My second work in progress is another one of these Anguli cows. So there she is. That is Hillary Steph Callis. But this time I am working with a fingering weight yarn. So this is Hoko Fiber Company. So these are the folks that we met at the Western Fair Market. And this is their dotty base.
So hi to those people that we met at the market.
Hi.
I hope you're doing well with your yarn.
Exactly.
Do you like their yarn?
Oh my gosh, it's lovely. So I am just working on it. And once again, what I decided to do, that this is really tonal yarn, and it is beautiful. I'm not sure it shows up on camera, but there's the tones that are in there. So it's not just a flat green thing.
Yeah,
it's got all kinds of tones in there. So I am working with an I-cord edge, okay, and I will do an I-cord bind off. This is going to take me longer to do, but I've got lots of yarn. So I'm really happy with this.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's great. It's going to be great. So it's going to take a little longer, but you can see that's something I could wear inside.
Yeah.
Whereas the other one would be too big to wear inside. All right.
Well, you've been busy.
I have been busy. So one more work in progress, and that is a pair of socks that are so close to being done I can't even explain. I think I'm just about to Kitchener the toes.
Are you glad?
I am, but I was having so much fun, except the yarn's black. And I remember when I bought this yarn, I didn't even think about black yarn. I just thought, oh, it's got a really nice stripe in it. So this is the Wool Free Brights. And this one actually says that it's violet. It looks kind of pink to me, but it's
I love the color of this yarn, though.
It is.
Now, I know in the past when you've did with black yarn, you've put, I don't know, like a pillowcase, a white pillowcase on your lap.
Yep.
And that's helped.
Sometimes that'll work. And the other thing that I now have is my big Ott lamp. Which is amazing. You throw it on there because what happened was...
Oh, you did it on your Ott lamp?
Well, my Ott lamp's right above me, and so the black isn't quite so dark in the evenings, that's for sure. Now, this pattern... Well, that would be interesting if I could. This pattern is Hermione's Everyday Sock Pattern, and that's by Erica Luder. This is a lovely sock pattern. Now, I did this because I wanted a bit of texture on the top. Now, one of these, I know this is very strange what I did to me. One is on the blocker, just so you can see.
Very nice. I love the feel of this.
And then there's the other one. Now, I got the tops to match, but the rest of the sock doesn't match because there's different times that it does the violet part in it. So that was the trick. Now,
are you knitting 2 at a time? Is that why?
That is why it's like that. I'm knitting 2 at a time. So I'm so close to being done.
It feels great.
I think it's nice. Now, I had you give it a try on before I put the toe in because this is a smaller sock.
Right.
Because it's for somebody else. And you said you'd like it a little bit higher than
Right. Yeah, I love this. Love this yarn, yeah.
Now, so that you don't have to hold it up, we can put it down. Let's talk about my dilemma in my life.
There's always a dilemma.
It is. So did my dilemma. So, 8 o'clock last night, I'm busy working on those socks going, I could start the toe. And I get across the first sock, across the second front of the second sock, go across the back of the second thought, now I've got one more thing to go back, and my numbers aren't mounting up. I'm somewhere in all this darkness, in all this black, I have lost a stitch.
Oh, no.
Now, I am pretty sure that it was on that back because that's where I was missing my stitch. But do you think I could figure out where it was? So it took me a long time. It ended up that I had dropped it about back here. So the good news is I took a little took a crochet hook and went, okay, I can do this. Ka-ching, ka-ching. It took me a while though because it was so far back and I'd knit everything else together, I didn't have a lot of leeway. But you didn't hear me curse.
No, you were very patient.
I didn't throw things.
I did hear a grunt or two. So that must have been what it was about. I did hear that.
There definitely was a little bit of regret. So I definitely was busy working on this pattern, but obviously I made it a shorty. And I did the heel because this is called an eye of partridge heel. And it's kind of gives the similar texture to what's on the top. But this is a nice texture, depending on what kind of sock you're going to do. But I'm pretty sure that's a free pattern. And that's a good question I have. So what I would like, if you don't mind, if you can comment down below, because I'm thinking that maybe what I should do when I'm telling people about what a pattern is, I should say whether it's a free pattern or not.
Sometimes you do.
Sometimes I do. But I think, you can go on Ravelry and you can find that out for yourself. But sometimes it would be nicer if you could say, okay, that's a free one. I'm writing it down and that's what I'll look. Okay. So comment below. Let me know if you think that would be great and helpful to you and that I will do that.
That's a good idea.
Okay, so those are my works in progress and May works in progress for you.
Yes, I've been working on a video because one of our people or a couple of our people had asked me how I do my charcuterie boards and cutting boards and how I put the resin on there.
Right.
And so I did do some taping with that. So I tried to put together a video so I can put that up there and show you how I kind of refurbish the cutting boards. And you might be inspired to do that at home if you go to or maybe you have a cutting board at home, or if you go to a garage sale or a secondhand store and you see a nice piece of wood and you want to take that cutting board and
that's fantastic.
And then have it at home for yourself, that might be an idea you might want to do. So I'm working on that. So it's kind of a video in progress.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to getting that up.
All right. Yes. So next we're going to talk about our blocking adventure.
On today's adventure, we're going to be talking about blocking Colleen's knitwear. And you're going to talk all about blocking. Now, our adventure piece, I'm hoping in 2024, it gets a little bit more exciting than that for me to go on our adventures and that we can share more with you. But right now, the weather's so bad and we haven't really been traveling. Right. But looking forward to doing lots more adventures with you. Yeah. But you knitters will probably find this informative if you're going to be blocking. So there you go, Colleen, take it away.
All right. So I'm just going to go through my finished objects because you will see that they've been blocked. Now, and I'm going to go through my blocking kit. Now, this isn't everything that's for blocking, but there's lots of things that are in here. So I'm going to say this, first of all, looks like a ball of yarn, but it is a tape measure. So it is good to have that because you have to make sure you've got things the right size when you're blocking. Then I have these pins, which are called U-pins. And I'm just telling you what these things are, and then we're going to talk about what I used with in here. Oh my goodness. I have some things that are called T-pins. So that's that. And then I have two. Well, I actually technically have three. I'll just show them all. Here we go. So I have three different kinds of blockers. And you may say, well, why three? Well, because when you block and you have a blocking party, you need to have things to block. So this is the rainbow version. It's exactly the same as this version, except these are just all different.
Well, those are the same thing.
They are. But what you'll see is that these are all of the longer ones, not the half ones. And that's because upstairs right now, I have the one that has all the halves in there. So I tend to do it that way. So I've got it. Now, these ones we got from Temu, cheaper. I do like them actually. Now the top is a little curvier than the other ones.
And they were cheaper also?
They were cheaper. Now, you've got to make some decisions about where you want to spend your money, what you want to do. I know I've got some of these on Amazon. I've had some in some stores. But the reason I have so many is because when you're blocking something big, it's nice to have those.
There you go.
All right. So let's talk about my son's hat. So that is the journeyman hat. Now, when I was blocking that, I used this kind of blocking things. All right. And the reason why it's up there, because that's where I was blocking the hat. I use one of the, did we find out what they're called? Play mats that you can get. You can get 4 that are 2 feet by 2 feet, I think.
They're actually called tiles. I think
Tiles.
okay. Tiles, like,
Right.
you know, those rubber tiles you get.
Right.
You can get them different colors from kids, but you can get them in black. You can get them in gray.
Right. And I think right now there's some on sale that are covered that are at
They tire.
maybe. So I use that. It helps that we've got carpeting in the basement. That's usually where I do my blocking. Now, Thomas's hat, you have to make a decision when you're blocking. This is acrylic. And what I had to do was I needed to make sure, because there was some knits and purl bumps, and I needed to spread it out a bit. I didn't want it to be a floppy hat, but I needed to spread it. I didn't want to spread the ribbing. So I made sure that I blocked it taller, kept the ribbing the same width that I needed it to be, and I pinned it all out accordingly with the blocking things. And then what I did was I just steamed the top part.
Okay.
And I didn't steam the ribbing. I didn't even get a
when you block it, you steam it, or do you steam it and then block it?
No, for me, I got it set up the way I wanted it, and then I just took the steamer, which is a closed steamer, and just steamed it right under that. And then I just waited till it dried.
Right.
Now, it's acrylic. It sprung back a little bit, but I was so mindful that I didn't want to over steam it that I probably could have steamed it a little bit more. Now, our viewer had said you could wet block it, and you probably could. I didn't have enough time, to be honest with you. I needed that thing to get dried for Christmas Eve. So as a result, steam it. It was great. He tried it on. It fit wonderful. So I was really, really thrilled about that. That's the first thing that I blocked. Now, the second thing I blocked was May's socks. Now, this is May's sock. And this one needed to be blocked because I was carrying yarn, and I wanted to make sure that it can soften yarn that isn't quite as soft. This is Leo and Roxy Basics yarn. It's lovely, but it made a big difference blocking it. Now, I had to make an executive decision. This is a medium blocker, and I'm not sure how big it goes. So I had to decide, am I going to block it on the blocker, or am I going to just pin it out on the floor? And I thought this would be better. It's hollow up in here. So it means it will dry faster.
Right.
Exactly. And I just hung it up where we hang our clothes, and it was good.
That's good.
Now, if I find that that's too big, I think it's going to be okay for you. Then I can block it again. So you soak, this is wool. So you soak it for 15, 20 minutes. Just put it in with some soak or some eucalyptus and some water, let it sit, take it out. And then you take a towel and roll it out so you get rid of the moisture. Sometimes you flip it over and roll it again, and then you can do what you need to do with it. Good. And it works well. So the soap can stay in because it's almost like a conditioner as well. So it works really well. So that's that one. Now, I mentioned with my socks, I didn't block them, and I wouldn't. They're open enough. I don't really need very lacy socks. If something was a little tighter, then I might block them, same way as I blocked May's socks. Then I blocked my Zuzu's petals. And here is what it was. Now, this one had lace that needed to be open. And so I needed to measure it. So once again, soaked it 15, 20 minutes with some soap. And then you never wring it out. You know how you wring out a towel or a cloth? You don't do it, right? You just kind of squish the water out. And then what I needed to do, thank you, Vanna. Then what I needed to do was there's this center part. So first of all, I pinned the center because I wanted it to be straight. So it kind of stood up. Is it straight? That's good. Then I started pinning to the side. So I knew that these little scalloped edges here at the bottom, they needed to come out. So I pulled those out, and I used these blockers. And I just would take that part out and pin it down. So I did that. And then I was just measuring that this distance was the same as this distance. So always from the center was I doing, you don't want something that's lopsided. So it worked out well. And this really is, it's softened it up. It's made it just that much nicer. It's
sit nicer.
It's going to sit nicer. I was going to say it's going to scrunch down, but that doesn't sound very nice.
It'll sit nicer.
It will sit nicer, that's for sure.
Now you're going to do an more in-depth tutorial on all of that.
Absolutely. So I was trying to help my videographer friend here. I was trying to help her. And so I was trying to video. So you're going to see me left-handed doing things.
And this tutorial, not this video.
No, yeah,
Yes.
in the tutorial you'll see it. So I was trying to film with my right hand, do the work with my left hand. I'm not so sure. I'm right-handed, so it was a little.
You should just call for my help.
I could have, but I was trying to make your life easier because you were making bets, 40 of them. That's all I know. All right, now here is the last thing that I blocked over the last little bit, and this one was tricky. Now, all of this knitting and purling was a little tricky because I wanted to make sure it was big. So I had to make sure same length here, same length there. This is where it has a twist. Not that I made a mistake. That's the pattern. Now, on the sides, I could use this, okay? On sides, I could use those. And you don't want to flatten it by pushing it all the way in. My hands are up, so it won't. You want to make sure you have it measured the same way. When I did the top and when I did down here, the top especially, I used the U-pins because I wanted to be able to just set it nicely and go through 2 layers. And then this I just pinned so it would stay put, and I didn't want to over twist it.
No, it's nice.
It's nice.
This nice block too. Things make a difference. Block. I have
They
to say.
do. And I have to tell you,
Seems like a lot of work to somebody that doesn't knit though. Like,
well, but you know what? I knit for years and didn't block. And I wish I had known. If I'd known, I would have been blocking
really,
a long time ago.
well,
I did. I didn't.
it's worth it.
It's worth the blocking. And if you say, well, I don't really know, or I don't have any of these, or you don't, there's always a way to work around it. I mean, the U pins, the T pins aren't that expensive. So you can take a look at that or see if you're,
Do you use a regular pen if you didn't have any of this equipment? Or is it better not?
It's better not to. The U pins, if I had my choice of a T pin or a U pin, I would pick the U pin because it just lets you not have such a pointed part. Do you know what I mean? Like as you're doing the edge, right? It'll cover instead of it just taking one little part up, especially when you're dealing with stitches.
There you go.
So that's a long
Wow, that was
story.
That was a good adventure.
Yes,
for you.
I had a block party all by myself.
All by yourself because I wasn't there. So
But that's my blocking adventure. And next we're going to talk about souvenirs.
before we go on to talk about our souvenirs, we should talk about our New Year's resolutions. And like I said before, they never really change. I just want good health, exercise,
Use up your stash.
That's
Maybe.
what use the things in the house that we
That's
can use.
right.
And also, I'm going to add one this year is going to be positive.
Oh,
If anything, yes, just positive. I'm going to try and be positive every single day. I'm going to say to myself, today is a good day to just appreciate everything.
I think that's a fantastic
Got
idea.
some friends going through some serious health issues
Mhm.
and very positive. They're very positive, and I think
Exactly.
that's really helped them heal
Yes.
and helping them healing. So I think being positive is important.
Mhm.
And also exercising and keeping active and all those good things. And it's funny how your resolutions change through the years, isn't
Right.
it?
Exactly.
I come very basic, very simple. And
That's right.
basically, it's all about the health.
That's right.
And Colleen's been we've been playing pickleball.
Yes.
And you've also been going
To an exercise class.
Exercise.
And went to the exercise class yesterday. And all of a sudden, this person came up and said, Colleen, how are you? I said, I'm fine. I'm thinking, I know her face, but I can't remember her name. I feel so bad. So Penny. I will
Penny.
never forget your name. So she was talking about seeing us at the Lambeth Craft Show and coming up and chatting with us. And she was a sweetie. So
And
thank you.
speaking of positive, Penny's always positive.
That's right.
Really appreciate her. We appreciate you watching. So if you're out there, Penny, hello. I missed seeing you. I'm sorry I didn't see you, but I would have recognized your face, and I probably would have remembered your name.
Okay, she's giving me trouble. I'm so sorry.
Anyway, here we are, and now we'll talk about our souvenirs.
All right. So, you know how things happen. So this is how things happen. So I was working with the Bakery Bears who were doing their Advent thing. And one of the things that Kay Jones did was she did a felt heart with the little Christmas tree, did a little bit of embroidery on it. And I thought, well, I really like that. So I went to go to find the stuff to do it. I thought, well, I can order the felt, but I need to get the right kind of needles, which she called either sashiko or sashiko. I don't know. I read something yesterday that's the sashiko. I don't know. But she said, you need those needles. So I went, okay, I can do that. So I went to Stitch It Central and I found these needles.
And now Stitch Essential is a really great store that's opened up on Hamilton Road in London.
Right.
And she has really expanded and done all this stuff. And she's got a great amount of inventory in there, you say.
Exactly.
And she's got everything for everything.
And we did do our video before Christmas.
Right.
Yes.
And so if there's anyone going to have a sashiko needle, it would be them.
Exactly.
So you went
So
there.
I went and got that. And then, of course, I'm looking at this thing and I'm seeing all this sashiko. Sashiko. I don't know. It's kind of like lyuka needles. I'm not sure why, but I'm going to learn. I will practice. I'm going to find out. And I thought, May, this is beautiful stuff. So I showed her some of the things and I thought, okay, I can do this. So usually, not always, but we were gifted some Amazon gift cards. And so I thought, well, I'm going to learn. So I did some ordering. And one of the first things I ordered was this, which is the Ultimate Sashiko book by Susan Briscoe. I've seen videos with her, but you can see it's a plain background and it's just running stitch. So sashiko means little stabs.
Oh, is it?
And so that's why it is. Now, there's all kinds of different things. They come from nature. This type of embroidery was done to make fabric in Japan. It's a Japanese art form. It was to make the fabric stronger and warmer.
And to make the clothes last longer.
Exactly.
And what I learned about this as we were learning some different things about it, they had to use certain colors back in the day. So generally, the original ones were always like done on a dark navy with the white or the beige threading. Yeah. And that was to distinguish what class you were in. Like,
exactly.
So it was a certain class. And because they didn't have a lot of different clothes, it just made the clothes last longer. They could patch it up too.
Exactly. So that's one thing I got. Then, of course, that
probably was to have all the tools.
Well, there's templates because you have to, I could not, you have to trace a pattern. Now, so what I ended up with, and these came from England, Quilted Bear, I think is what it's from. So these are templates. And now this is the Waves template. This is the, what does it say? This is the 7 Treasures template. And this is the Hemp Leaf template. And so you're going to mark this on some dark cloth, and then I'm going to use navy with white thread, more than likely. And then you just learn how to do this. So these 4-inch ones would make good coasters.
Oh, I like coasters.
Exactly. Or you could put it together and you could make a bag and you could do some sewing. So I have some fabric that I could use up. So I thought that was good. And the other thing that I ordered from them was one of these adjustable ring thimbles with a plate, because the idea is you work like that. So you go up and down, and then you've got to push the needle through. So if you have the thimble right there, then you're pushing against it. Now, as you can see, nothing has come out of the packages yet. And because this is very typical of Colleen, I'm a little nervous about it. I know I'll be able to handle it because it is running stitch, and I've done that before. But I'm really excited, and I think this would be some nice stuff
to
put in our booth.
You bought some sashiko fabric.
I have.
Which is a little more...
It's an opener weave.
A different weave.
Yeah.
It's not too heavy.
It's not.
And you've also bought sashiko thread.
Yes.
Comes with a different thread. It's not regular thread.
No, it's a different thread. Now, you can use a DMC cotton pearl number 8. It's about the same thickness as the sashiko thread itself. So that's a possibility as well. So more than likely, knowing me, I'm going to take some old fabric and take not my fancy sashiko thread, some other thread, and I'm going to try and do something and see what I can do. So I'll say to May, what color would you like your coaster? And I'll make her a coaster. So those are my souvenirs. And May, how did you do with souvenirs?
Well, I've been busy. I've been going to secondhand stores. Again, I shopped on Amazon as you did. Mm-hmm. I just got some hooks for maybe some wooden plaques that I'm making. I'm thinking of this. Seems to be 2024, the creative Colleen and May, learning new stuff and all that kind of stuff. So I'm hoping to learn some new projects too with the cars and great toys and all that stuff. So I still been going to my Goodwill stores, my secondhand stores,
right?
And I did pick up something I'm very excited about. And I'm going to be one of my projects, but I can't get in the garage right now because it's really cold. Although my friend Carrie brought over a nice heater.
Right.
But it's still a little cool to be in there.
Right.
I'm hoping that maybe I could use the heater sometimes, maybe early spring.
Yeah.
But right now I'm just going to not do anything. But it's mostly a work in progress, I guess.
Right.
And so what I picked up, I'm really excited about this. It's still a little dusty, so don't breathe in.
Okay. Well,
It's a boat. And my plan is to refurbish it somehow. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that.
okay. Do you want me to
Yep. And it's got a little place here for some
shelves? Okay.
And I'm going to make some shelves for it. I thought it'd be great. Colleen and I have a soap called the Great Lakes soap. Mm-hmm. And I thought it'd be a great display for our Great Lakes soap.
I agree with you.
Once it's all cleaned up. Not like I say, it's not too bad. I might just paint it up, put some shelves in there, and figure that once I get in the garage. Yes. So that's that. We're working on that and many other projects for 2024.
That's good.
Yes.
So thank you so much for watching. If you like what you're seeing, give us a thumbs up, comment down below. Let us know about blocking and what you think or what you've tried, or is there a tool that I didn't mention that you like? Because it was like learning from
And maybe somebody else has done sashiko.
That would be fantastic if you've got any hints, because as you can see, I'm ready, but I'm nervous.
And also, you can subscribe to our channel. That would be really helpful. We're looking to give more giveaways in 2024 also, doing more tutorials for you.
And one of my resolutions is to try and respond back to comments.
Yes.
I got to work better at that. So look forward to comments from me.
Good.
So until next time,
you take care.